tons of blueberry flavor, like super unique. You are not going to get this anywhere else. Yeah, it's good. I really like it. Hey, what's up guys? It's Corey from Cruise Reviews. Thanks for joining me today. I am coming to you from another brewery in Birmingham as part of our Birmingham Brewing series. This is Monday Night Brewing. Now, Monday Night is originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but they, about a year or so ago, opened up a new brewery in Birmingham, and they have some specialized things that are just here in Birmingham. So I thought, what the heck, let me show you this place, and it is pretty great. So let's get going. So let me remind you of how we do these reviews. We base it on 4 simple criteria. Number 1 is the taste. Number 2 is the variety of the beer at the brewery. Number 3 is the churn factor. This is what I kind of think of as variety over time. If I were to come to this brewery, once a month for 12 straight months, how different is the beer every time I show up? Number 4, and finally, is going to be the location and the atmosphere. So that's what we're going to rate the brewery on. Now, admittedly, this is entirely subjective, right? So you may completely disagree with some of my ratings, but the best thing you can do is come to the brewery and find out for yourself. So let's get started. Okay, so first up, what the heck am I drinking? Well, I've got 5 different drinks here, 4 beers, and 1 kind of like mixture of a beer cocktail smoothie thing. So I'm gonna start with that. This is a Bushwhacker with some beer in it and some rum in it and some other stuff in it. So hopefully it will taste good, but it's basically their Bushwhacker here at the brewery. So let's give it a go. Ooh. Ooh, that is super boozy. I don't know if I like that. Maybe. Like, I want to like that. I love Bushwhacker, right? Like, it's delicious to me. It's like a chocolate milkshake. Ooh, that's so boozy. I just don't even know. If that's your thing, definitely ask for a taste of it. But I'm just not sure. Like, I'm not sure that that's like something that I would order again if I were here. Oh, it's just so, like, it's so rummy and chocolatey that it's a bit much for me, and that's saying a lot. So give it a go if you're here, but I would not come here just for that. Okay, so let's get into our list of criteria. I always do taste last, so let's start with variety. I think variety here at Monday Night Brewing is a 5 out of 5. Like, it is as good as variety can be. There's a wide variety of stuff here. They have everything from sours all the way to really interesting and different stouts. So anything in between, super light beers to super dark beers. And that's what you're looking for when you come to a brewery. You want to have an interesting experience, especially if you're not with a bunch of friends, where location matters more, atmosphere matters more. If you're by yourself, then the variety, in my opinion, matters the most. So I'm going to give this place a 5 out of 5. So my first beer of the day is a guilty pleasure of mine, and it's an Oktoberfest. So here we are in October. So I thought, hey, why don't I, at least do an Oktoberfest, just kind of give you an idea of like how well they do seasonal beer. Let's see how it goes. So first things first, the Oktoberfest is it's not amber as much as what most Oktoberfest you see around the South are, but that isn't necessarily indicative of the flavor. Almost nothing on the nose. It's okay. It's okay. Like, it's malty, it's light, it's crisp. It's not as malty as what I like an Oktoberfest to be. Some people would probably love that because it's like a step up from like a light beer, but it's not like really over the top. So I'm gonna say that a lot of people would really enjoy that. It's just not my absolute favorite beer. Okay, so when it comes to Churn, right, this is like variety over time. I think variety, it's a 5 out of 5 here, as I've already mentioned, but I think the Churn is like middle of the road. Anytime I come in, there are about 20 different beers on tap. That's amazing. But when you start talking about like how many of those 20 are brand new every time you come in, you're probably talking about like 5 out of the 20 beers are brand new every time you come in. So it's pretty good Churn. It's not terrible. It's not the same stuff all the time. It's just not everything being brand new, which is what I personally love. So I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5. That's not a bad thing. It's just kind of my preference. But when you come in, if you find something you like, there's a very good chance it'll be here next time you come in. But there's also a good chance that you'll be able to find something new and interesting if you've never been here before or if you haven't been here in a while. So Churn, 2.5 out of 5. Next up is a citrusy Gosa. So if you're not familiar with the idea of a Gosa is like a pretty salty beer originally, but a lot of people don't really do it as a kind of a salty, true to form beer. They do it a little bit more like a sour, and that's okay. So this is supposed to be a citrusy Gosa. It's called What You Need. So let's give it a go. Cheers. Oh, now that's delicious. Like, it is a touch salty, and salty sounds gross until you have it and you're like, but if you think salty when you drink it, it's awesome. Oh my gosh. Like, it doesn't have a big nose on it. Oh, that might be the best Gosa in the city. Like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's salty on the front, it's a Gosa on the front, but it's got some citrus to the back end. Whew, that is like primo good, like excellent, excellent beer. Okay, so for atmosphere, I'm going to give this place a 3 out of 5 stars. I think the atmosphere is great, and I think they nail what they're going for, right? It's eclectic, it's funky, and it reflects the beer. I think the thing that kind of gets marks against it is the fact that like it doesn't have a massive outdoor space. It's got a nice patio, which you'll see in the B-roll, but it doesn't have a huge outdoor space. So I think that is a mark against it. I think it doesn't really do live music or anything like that. But if you're looking for like an eclectic place for you and your friends to go, I definitely see this as more of a place for like college students or just a place where it's interesting and you want to try funky new beer. And you can see from the background behind me, like they are definitely catering to people probably younger than me, but that doesn't mean I feel out of place here. It's very welcoming. It's a very comfortable environment. The seating is super comfortable as well. So I love this place. It's a 3 out of 5 for me. It just doesn't have some of that outdoor seating. It doesn't have a lot of that like live music vibe or something like that you would usually get from some of the better rated places here in Birmingham. Okay, so next up we've got an IPA. It's a double IPA, and they call this a Milkshake IPA. I don't really know what Milkshake IPA means. I think it's just a different way of describing a hazy IPA. This is called As We Proceed. It's a double IPA that they describe as a milkshake. Let's see. So as you can see, it's not even that hazy. It's pretty good. Not much on the nose. Y'all. Whoa. That's so interesting. Yeah, I would definitely give it a shot. Like, that's very unique. I am struggling to describe it. Like, it's like if you're trying to get somebody to like an IPA, give them this. It's big, like it's a bit boozy, but it is like almost like eating some Fruity Pebbles in an IPA. It is It is really yummy. Like, it's tasty. I don't know how much of it you could drink, but it is tasty. I'd start somebody off with that and say, let me show you what an IPA can be. It's not truly a representation of what you think of when you think of an IPA, but that's pretty damn good. So now for the toughest and most subjective rating that I have, how does this stuff taste? I'm torn here because I'm gonna reward some points for being interesting and daring here. But at the same time, it's not the best beer that I've had in the city. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. But understand that it's because they take risks. Like, some of the stuff you have is gonna be weird and funky and interesting. I love that. I feel like that's like the spirit of why people come to a brewery, right? Is to gather and to experience something different and interesting and new, right? It's the same reason that people go to cool restaurants, right? They want to have something they can't just get at home. And I think they do that, and I think they do it really well. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. That doesn't mean every beer that you're gonna have here is gonna be a 4 out of 5, but you might get a beer that is now your favorite beer, a beer that you tell everybody about. You might get that here, but you might also get one that you're like, I don't care if I ever have that again. And that's okay. That's the whole idea. It's for experimentation. So 4 out of 5, super strong beer. I think their flagships are excellent. So if you're a little more conservative, I think you can bring those more conservative friends here and they can find something they're interested in. But I'm gonna give the overall taste of the beer 4 out of 5. Okay, so my last beer is called the Blueberry Crumpet. And as you would imagine, it's got blueberry flavor in it, or blueberry in it. And it's actually a stout. So this is not a light beer, and it's surprising because, like, it's really tough to get blueberry in a dark beer because the stout has like more notes of like a roasted note to it, which is almost like a coffee-esque note. So you see a lot of coffee in stouts. You don't see a lot of blueberry in stouts. So let's see how this goes. Like, ooh, the blueberry is like super prevalent. Like, I mean, it's the first thing you notice. It smells delicious. Whoa, that is different. Like this, it's almost like I would call it like a dessert beer almost. Like it's something you would have after dinner as like, this is your last beer of the night. It's really good. It's a bit sweet. Yeah, it's definitely sweet. It's smooth, almost like a milk stout. Tons of blueberry flavor, like super unique. You are not going to get this anywhere else. Yeah, it's good. I really like it. Okay, so bonus time. Just like with Back 40 Brewing, and if you haven't seen that video, go check it out right up here. So just like with Back 40 Brewing, this place actually serves food. I don't usually rate things based on food because most breweries just have food trucks in Alabama. But this place does serve food, and let me tell you, the food is really good. It's mostly almost like Mexican food for the most part. Like it's like Tex-Mex, which is interesting coming from Atlanta, but they have things like tacos, they have cheese dip. I love the black beans here. They're just really well seasoned, they're delicious. And so just want to give a big endorsement for the food. I think that sets this place apart because you can sit down with your friends, you can eat dinner, and you can have your beers. So that's just a nice call out to something that's unique, and I wish we had more of in Birmingham. To wrap this up, I think this place is awesome. It plays really nicely with the local brewery next door called Good People Brewing. If you haven't seen that, please go check out that video. It's just completely different. So you could start at Good People, get your fix there, and then come over here, try some funky beers, and end the night with dinner. And I cannot recommend it enough. Yes, this place is from Atlanta, but at the same time, it's run by local people, and they have beer that is exclusive to just this brewery. And I've been to the local place in Atlanta, and I think this one's actually better. So that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the like button. And if you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. That would mean a lot to me. So there you have it, guys. Hope you have a nice day, and we will talk again soon.